Hello, it's Jerry Cates, and we're live here in Secrets to Becoming an Empowered Woman. So today I'm talking about, or the name of my talk, Stop Managing, Start Leading, Reclaim Your Power. So if you're here live, go ahead and put a hashtag live, and if you're here for the replay, hashtag replay. I would love to know your takeaways from this, okay? So let me just get myself online here and see if I can actually see comments. Oh, there I am. Bear with me. All right. It's like behind, right? Okay. So, taking a big breath. So let me ask you something. Have you ever looked around at your life and realized you're holding it all together for everyone else? The kids, the partner, the co-workers, the clients. You're the one who remembers birthdays, the one who smooths over things when there's tension, the one who gets it all done, sometimes at the expense of your own peace, your own health, and your own dreams. And the hardest part? Most days it feels like no one even notices. You're exhausted, resentful, and wondering, when is it my turn? If this feels familiar, you're in the right place. I know this because I've been there too. Years ago, I was in a relationship where I found myself carrying it all, financially, emotionally, spiritually. It started out simple enough. He was a bit of a drifter, not a grifter. Did I say grifter? A drifter, working odd jobs, trying to find his place. I wanted to believe in his potential. So I stepped up. I became the one who kept the lights on, who made sure the bills were paid, and who held the vision for a better life for both of us. I was the one doing that. But here's what I didn't see at the time. When I was busy managing his life, his needs, his struggles, his problems, I was slowly losing myself. I didn't even realize how much it was draining me until I woke up one day and felt like a shell of the woman I had been before. I was tired, resentful, and quietly wondering, is this really all there is for me? That was my wake-up call. I realized I had been so busy trying to fix it and trying to make it work, trying to hold on or hold it all together, that I had abandoned myself in the process. I had forgotten what it meant to lead, not just manage. Let's talk about the hidden costs of managing others. Here's what I want you to know. When you spend your energy managing everyone else, whether it's your partner, your kids, your clients, you end up paying the price. You end up paying the price. Here's what the cost looks like. You lose yourself, your energy, your clarity, your voice. Your boundaries get blurry and resentment builds. You stay stuck in cycles of overgiving and under-receiving. That's you. Put a yes in the chat. Just put a yes in the chat. The worst part, you're so busy managing everyone else that you don't even notice that you're falling apart until it's too late. The shift begins with awareness. This is what I've been doing, and it's not working. So that's what I'm saying, is an awareness is like noticing what you're doing and then it's not working, so that you can make a shift. But that's the first step, is it begins with awareness, noticing what's really happening here. So let's talk about the self-leadership shift. So how do we stop managing and start leading? It starts with you. Of course, it always starts with you, right? My cheeks are red today. True leadership isn't about controlling others. It's about keeping the peace of holding it all together. Or it's not about keeping the peace. Let me try that again. True leadership isn't about controlling others, and it's not about keeping the peace, holding it all together. It's about leading yourself first, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. Because here's the truth. You can't lead your life if you're constantly reacting to others. You have to lead from your center. So if you're busy being in reaction, right, running around taking care of everyone else, you can't lead from your center. So dropping down into your body and being in your center and moving forward from there. And this is where I want to teach you a practice that changed everything for me. So let's do this together. Take a nice deep breath in. Go ahead and close your eyes if you're somewhere where it's safe to do so. Hey, Medea. And then letting it out. And say to yourself, I am 100% responsible for what I say, what I think, what I feel, and what I do. I'm 100% responsible for what I say, what I think, what I feel, and what I do. Let it land. Breathe it in. Say it again. I am 100% responsible for what I say, what I think, what I feel, and what I do. Feel that in your body. This is leadership. And here's the bonus. When you're 100% responsible and others are 100% responsible for their own thoughts, feelings, and actions, you stop carrying what isn't yours. So, like a lot of us have been parents or are parents. Think about how we wanted to run our kids' life, right? We wanted them to do, things the way we wanted to, or, but think about how we got in there and kind of control things. If that happened with you, I know it did with me. I tried to control things. And if we can step back and allow them to be 100% responsible for themselves, it's very powerful. First, there's power in that expectation of them being responsible for themselves. And as parents, we're here to help them. One of our jobs is to get them ready for the world, right? And this is a powerful tool to teach them about being 100% responsible for what they say, what they think, what they feel, and what they do. Or even in a relationship, if I'm 100% responsible and my partner's 100% responsible, we don't have to bring that much to the table. We come to the table grounded. I'm not over there in his business and he's not in mine. So when you do this, you stop over-functioning. You start creating relationships that are built on mutual respect. And this is a shift from managing to leading. Can you see that? If I'm in this space where I'm managing everyone else, I'm being responsible for what they say, think, feel, and do, right? I can step back and be responsible for me and create space for them to be responsible for themselves. Support them in that. Hold that possibility for them. Now let's talk about the power of boundaries, because that's important here. Once you reclaim responsibility for yourself, the next step is to set boundaries. Boundaries are how you protect your energy, your time, your well-being. They're not walls, they're invitations for respect. Here's the simple truth. If you don't set boundaries, you will always be managing others. But when you do set boundaries, you send a clear message. This is what I need. This is what I will allow. This is what I will not. And I was talking to someone today about setting boundaries and about how, or even keeping your promises to yourself, how that feels on the other side of it when you do it. There's this really good feeling that you kept your promise to yourself or you set that boundary. And that helps you get momentum to do more of that same behavior, right? To set those boundaries, because now you have that good feeling, right? We resist boundaries because we don't want the confrontation. We don't know what they're going to say. We don't, it's just all up in the air. Don't want to rock the boat. But when you set that boundary, like I said, that it's about respect. But when you set that boundary, there's that moment on the other side where you feel free. That's freedom, right? When you set that boundary and feel what it feels like on the other side. Or when you make that promise to yourself and you follow through and you feel what it feels like on the other side, you think you're going to go do it some more? Think you're going to go set more boundaries? Yeah. So really important to step into that moment when you get to the other side and you've set that boundary. And I mean, it might be after you leave the room and you're going, oh my gosh, I set that boundary. I didn't cave. I could do that again, because boundaries are about respect. So let's see. If you don't set boundaries, you're always managing others. I said that, okay? But if you do set boundaries, you send your clear message, okay? So let's start small. One boundary, one decision, one clear yes or no. This is how you lead your life instead of letting others lead it for you. So think about a place in your life where you haven't been setting a boundary and you know that you need to, right? It's weighing on you. And there's lots of scripts and things you could practice. And like I practice in the mirror, like if somebody is always asking me to do something, what was it we said? It was from Claire Zamet's thing on boundaries. It was, that doesn't fit on my plate, but thank you for thinking of me. And smile. They won't know what to do. But don't cave. Don't cave. Once you've stood your ground, stay there. It'll feel really good on the other side. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop managing and start leading? Do you see what I mean by managing? You're in everybody else's stuff. And leading is being 100% responsible for yourself. And you don't have to carry the resentment and the bad feelings that come from you being in everybody else's stuff, right? Or you managing everyone else. A good manager, a sign of a good manager is the shop or the organization runs well without them, right? So allowing your kids or the other people in your lives to run their life, they might do better than you realize if you give them a chance. So if you are ready to start leading and stop managing, I have a special opportunity for you. So I'm doing these clarity calls, and they're like these 30-minute laser coaching sessions. And so I'm opening up 7 this week, and there's no pitch with it. If you like what we do, we'll make another appointment, do some more coaching, and then I'll share with you what it looks like to work together. But we'll help you get clear on where you want to lead from. And tap into your vision. There's nothing like being able to talk about what it is you want to create and have someone witness it and support you in it, right? But we'll also identify what's been keeping you stuck in the management mode, right? Why do you do that, right? And then map out the first steps to reclaim your power, your time, and your peace. A lot of times when women come into this group, Secrets to Becoming an Empowered Woman, when I ask what area of your life would you like to improve, a lot of times people say peace of mind. And I know that peace comes on the other side of accomplishing your goals or your intentions, and that freedom you feel in that moment. That's the peace. That's the beginning of having peace in your life. So if you're ready to have some fun, let's you can DM me, or you can type laser in the chat, and I will reach out to you, and we'll schedule a 30-minute call and have some fun, right? Okay, so now I want to invite you to move through your life with a different perspective and learn that affirmation. Right? I'm 100% responsible for what I say, what I think, what I feel, and what I do. And live from that place. Being responsible for what comes out of your mouth. Being responsible for what you do and what you think. Right? Taking that responsibility. I'm thinking back when I was in Feminine Power in the very first course. The coach they were asking, what's in the way of you taking your life to the next level? A lot of times we can't come up with it. So she's naming a couple of them. And she got to resentment. And I went, oh, that's it. Resentment. And I realized that was holding me back. So here's what she had me do next. She had me close my eyes, take a deep breath, and say to myself, I'm 100% responsible for what I say, what I think, what I feel, and what I do. And said it a couple of times. And she said, what do you see? And I could see a big meadow. So I told her, I see a big meadow. It's beautiful, a big meadow. She says, where's the resentment? I said, there's no room for resentment. It just came out of me. But really, there was no room for resentment in that beautiful place. So that exercise can be incredibly powerful of you taking your power back. Okay? All right. Hey, thanks for staying, Medea. All right. Jerry Kate's out. See you next week.